Welcome back as we seek to unravel an ugly pair of seemingly intractable issues raised by Texas Senator Ted Cruz, the border crisis and the national debt. Rudy, when Cruz says President Joe Biden and Democrats are bankrupting this country with profligate spending, is that hyperbole, or let's just say it, hypocritical, because Republicans green-lighted plenty of deficit spending too?
You know, Greg, in reality, there are several things that factor into the inflation that's squeezing everyone. But in politics, like a quarterback in football, the man in the White House at the time, you know, they're going to get blamed for when things go bad. But the accusations seem to be sticking some, especially if you believe the polls, which is why my word was cannonball. I think that Cruz is, Senator Cruz is trying to make a big splash. And what better way than make a big splash than to say it's his fault?
All right, Stephen, as the debt ceiling showdown unfolds and the finger pointing intensifies and talk of defaulting on the debt and cratering the economy frightens folks, how far will it go, and who, if anyone, stands to benefit politically?
There's always a face-off. That's just the nature of politics. So we may see a face-off. It may be weeks, who knows? But at the end of the day, enough Republicans will join with Democrats to continue to kick the can down the road. It doesn't matter what president it is, red or blue, the can always gets kicked down the road. Now, the finger pointing will not stop. It will continue to increase, especially if people are still paying $6 and $7 for a 12-pack of eggs. But I think who stands the best to benefit from it actually is Joe Biden, because it's going to get passed. And so they may hear these campaigns and smear campaigns and talks, but at the end of the day, it's going to get done. So at the end of the day, people will still keep their jobs and be able to get their paychecks.
All right, Rudy, the border crisis has been a big gaping wound for Democrats over the last 2 years. But in the last couple of months, the Biden administration has been gradually backtracking a good bit on its open door policy. How much do you think that has to do with the 2024 election?
You know, Greg, I think it has more to do with what happened back in November. You know, the border will be an issue in the 2024 presidential campaign, sure. But I think the economy and the threat of war, you know, those are going to be the deciding issues in the 24 campaign. Now, with that said, the Democrats certainly did avoid the big red tsunami that was predicted in 22. But Republicans, got to remember this, Republicans gained some ground in traditional blue strongholds like down in South Texas. So when you have a community like El Paso essentially joining in with Governor Greg Abbott and his migrant busing program to other states, that is a red flag for Democrats that they better do something down there. The problem is hard-line positions on both sides continues to prevent any real immigration reform from really happening.
All right, Stephen, let's look forward. Cruz has diehard supporters, but also plenty of detractors here in Texas. Given what we saw in November with Republicans dominating across the board, is he vulnerable to a Democrat? And if so, who would be the most formidable opponent from Team Blue?
Ted Cruz is like Teflon, right? Like he doesn't have support from Democrats. Of course, he doesn't have support from some Republicans who quietly dislike him, but he still continues to win. The Democrats are going to have a lot ahead of them because they have to put forward a candidate that has that type of energy that Beto O'Rourke had when he came close to beating Ted Cruz. But at the end of the day, it's still Texas. Texas is still very red, and we're at a time where things are very divisive, and a lot of people are throwing out red meat. Now, some potential candidates, North Texas Congressman Colin Allred, who flipped a red seat blue, is thinking about it, according to multiple reports. He's been spending a lot of money, putting out a lot of mailers, and so he may be filling himself out. And then there's also rumors about State Senator Roland Gutierrez. So whoever goes against him may be a minority, but they still are going to have an uphill climb to beat Ted Cruz, who is not very popular, to be completely honest.
One-word answer, Rudy, is Cruz beatable?
Yes.
Okay.
But not with a Beto type.
I said one word. That's okay. Let's leave it there. To see this interview and others, go to our Fox Stations YouTube pages.
And continue the conversation with us on social media.
And there are a lot of issues to be talked about. The legislature is really ramping up. And so join us next week to find out what the issue is.